for a brand new character in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. I just love hearing that intro. It's time for a new character, and I think this character in particular, everybody would love to see. And if you are a fan of Fairly Odd Parents, if you're a fan of Danny Phantom, it's by the same creator of Butch Hartman. He has made some amazing shows, and I definitely recommend T.U.F.F Puppy. And if you don't know what T.U.F.F stands for, it stands for Turbo Undercover Fighting Force. This is a secret agency or a group of spies with all types of combat ability. They use different weapons and gadgets and different things and special, techniques and things like that, and they're under special training and they're fit to fight off evil and protect Petropolis. And Dudley Puppy for this video today is supposed to be the main protagonist, and he's also partnered up with Kitty Caswell. And speaking of Caswell, I actually made a moveset for her long ago as an older request, and you could check her moves out in the description if you want to check out the video. It's also going to pop up going towards the end for my end screens if you guys want to click on it, see what I came up for her. And they can be two separate fighters, and they're partners in crime and so much more as they become closer as you watch the show. And she wasn't really fond of Dudley Puppy because he's so goofy, he does silly things in the show, he's hyperactive, and he has so much energy. But he brings the energy, and I think that's what she likes about him and so much more that he brought to the table. So we're going to start talking about Dudley Puppy throughout the whole entire video. If you don't want to watch the full video, you can go straight into the description and read his moveset and chat about it during this live premiere today, and let me know what you guys think about this character and so much more. There's so much talent that they still can bring into this game. It's untapped potential for some of these characters, and Rocksteady being our newest character for not long ago, for a couple weeks ago, I believe he came out about a month ago, or I don't even remember when he came out. I forgot his release date. But during the downtime, I like coming out with these kind of videos so that way there's something to do as far as during this downtime awaiting the next character, and I'm just not just playing the game when a new character comes out. I got all these different requests and characters that you guys want to see, and I could create ideas for them. And what I like about doing this series is that I could just come out with, I can watch new shows, I can even check out new characters and get to know different characters that I haven't even seen. And I grew up watching T.U.F.F Puppy, Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, As Told by Ginger, Rocket Power, Kablam, the Angry Beavers. It goes on and on and on. And even some of those Nick Jr. shows that used to come on with Face and Dora and the original Blues Clues, Kipper. It goes on and on with all these different shows. But of course, Kipper is completely different, and Arthur. But it's just so many shows when you think about it. When you look at this roster, they got so much potential, and it shouldn't be the end all be all. I really hope that Iroh isn't the last character, and you guys could chime in. Some people haven't been playing the game. Some people stopped playing the game and have been playing other games, which is completely fine. But I'm hoping that they don't settle. I'm hoping that they don't just jump on to the third game. Well, it's over now. Time for the third game. And some people have that and are thinking that way because they don't know what's next, and they're kind of afraid of what the future could entail. But we got to get some communication. We got to get some hype for this game. Rocksteady already came out, and the game's now on Game Pass that you can play free, which is cool. And I think that attracted even more players because they get to play the game free without paying for it, and they can experience some of these characters and see what the game is like. But hopefully we could get new shows like T.U.F.F Puppy, which you're going to be talking about. It leaves the big question mark. Let's keep it on here for a little bit. What's going to happen next? What's going to be their next move after Iroh? Is that going to be it for the characters? Hopefully it's not. Are they going to bring more modes and additional stages? Not the stage variations, because we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. We need all new stages, not just 2 stages. Let's get more and more and more for this game. so we can have more to look forward to and more to have access to, because Rocksteady and Iroh, it shouldn't be the end all be all. We deserve more new shows, all new shows for all new reps that's still missing in this All-Star Brawl 2. This Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. This is supposed to have more. And I just can't agree with this slogan. It's bigger and better. The roster is not bigger, but the game is better than the first game. We gotta get more of these characters back so we can get the characters people want to see. Yeah, we not gonna get everything we want, but it makes a big deal when you communicate with the community. So hopefully get some more actual reps and new shows like Dudley Puppy or T.U.F.F Puppy, and we could get characters like Dudley Puppy, which we're going to be talking about throughout this video. Now, for the backstory for starters, if you haven't seen it, let's start talking about the show so people can get to know who he is if you haven't seen T.U.F.F Puppy before and you don't know anything about this character. And just like I mentioned, if you are a huge fan of Fairly Odd Parents, and if you are a fan of Danny Phantom, you'll definitely like this show because it's created by the same Butch Hartman, and you guys can check this out. I definitely recommend it. So Dudley Puppy, also known as Agent Puppy, is a mixed breed of every dog. He's one of the main protagonists of the show who works as a spy for T.U.F.F headquarters. Now, if you don't know what T.U.F.F stands for, it's Turbo Undercover Fighting Force. This particular headquarters and its partners with Kitty Catwell to help protect Petropolis. So both Kitty and Dudley are partners, and they build a stronger relationship as you watch this show. Because in the beginning, she's not very fond of Dudley Puppy because he does silly things and he's just super goofy. But he actually has a lot of fighting potential when you go and watch the show, and all the different unique weapons, the gadgets that they use in this show is really fun to watch, and it's always something different. And you'll even go as far as seeing them dress up in different disguises. So the one thing I'll share, even though this isn't about Catwell was the original top agent of this undercover fighting force. Kitty Catwell was the top agent, and she did not have a partner. She was the go-to agent for these missions to carry out the objectives and protect Petropolis. And now that Dudley Puppy got recruited, she was forced to work with him, and he was the new recruit for the Turbo Undercover Fighting Force. And they work together to protect Petropolis. And when you go and watch this, you'll eventually see him join this team to help defeat the evil agents of the main antagonist group of Doom, which stands for the Diabolical Order of Mayhem, run by the wicked verminous Snaptrap, who's the main antagonist of the show and the most evil in all of Petropolis when you go and watch this show. So that's the plot of the story, and what their goal is to keep Petropolis safe. Dudley and Kitty Catwell and the rest of the Turbo Undercover Fighting Force to keep Petropolis safe. Makes you think of Metropolis like Superman. See what I'm saying? Or Metropolis. So that's the whole backstory. That's the whole plot of the story and the whole show if you want to check it out. And you can check out any episode you want, but you'll definitely see them get closer and be able to get into all types of different missions and different objectives to try to stop Snapchat and his schemes. And he does some really goofy things. He's just hyper. His energy is great, and that's why I think I like this character so much, because of his high energy. And I feel like he brings more energy to the table when it comes to the Turbo Force or the Undercover Fighting Force, because Kitty Catwell isn't like that. She's the more intelligent one in the group and between the two, but Dudley Puppy definitely has his own fighter potential, and he has even saved Catwell and helped her out several times in the show. So as goofy as he is, he's definitely come to the rescue, and he's been able to clutch up in certain moments where she needed the help. So you'll definitely be able to like this character for who he is because of his great energy and his silliness. I think people will definitely like this character, and that's why he's in the fan voted polls for some of these characters to get into the game, because people want to see these characters in new shows get represented in this game for this roster. We got to get some more. Now it's time for the stages. So I went with Petropolis, and then I also selected the T.U.F.F headquarters, the Turbo Undercover Fighting Force, if you haven't heard it already. Now, when it comes to the stages, I just didn't want to say it like this. I'm not a fan of the stage variations. I'm not. I think the best one that we've gotten is Tremors of Joyride because of the different background settings and the background design during the sunset. Look at the difference. See the difference of the background? I also like the song, but I think that's the best stage variation that we got. But the difference is that bugs me. Yes, a stage variation is better than nothing, but it's not an actual new stage because it's the same stage, but it's just added platforms. Three platforms, 2 platforms, and then a flat surface, and you go to a single platform, and then it's a competitive side where there's a flat surface and there's no platforms. The stage variations is cool, but we gotta get more than 2 stages. Then country, and the timeless start out. 2 stages that's from the campaign. It's awesome that they're adding it, but let's get we gotta get the Krusty Krab. We gotta get some other additional stages. I hope those 2 stages isn't the end all be all, and that's all we gonna get. Because the next set of characters I'm hoping will contain new stages, because there's a lot less to play on in this game. It's less characters, it's less stages. The stage variations don't count. That's why I don't pick them too often. Unless I'm playing online, I'm just gonna pick a bigger stage to play on. But I just want to see more stages get added into the game. So hopefully every character that they add, hopefully after Iroh we get more. Hopefully every single character after Iroh, if they go this route and plans don't get changed, things could be subject to change. You never know. These fighters can get new stages so people can start playing this game and be able to get excited. Well, I got the character and the costumes, but what else did you get? You didn't get a stage. You bought the character and you got the costume, but what about a new stage? I hope they continue to do that. And then new stages can get in for updates, of course, for patches. But let's get the characters come out with new stages so we don't have to wait a little bit longer for the stages to come out a little bit later on down the road, a month later. You know what I mean? Let's have the character come out with a stage and you get the costumes bundled into one like they did to the first game. Should have had Krusty Krab. We could have had the new Fire Nation stage or something like that. Something extra. We could have got somewhere from the Water Tribe. Even though he's not from the Water Tribe, he doesn't know waterbending, of course. For Zuko, we could get an additional stage. It's a Nickelodeon Kart Racers, a new TMNT stage from the Foot Clan. You see what I'm saying? So they could have been doing something like that for some of these characters. But let's get to the alternate costumes. Let's go to, Rocksteady. He got 3 different costumes, and then if you want to include them, the mind control costumes as well. This is one of my favorite ones. This is cool, really cool. But I gave Dudley Puppy way more than the costumes we have, and I put him, and I wanted to align him with SpongeBob and Patrick because they have the most costumes in the game. And then Elastic Waistband was a pre-order bonus, so they got about 4 or 5 costumes. A good 4 costumes. Let's see, 1, 2. So they got 4 costumes outside of the mind control. So a basic costume I wanted to start with for Dudley Puppy is him wearing pants. It's something silly, but it's significant to the show just from doing research and watching the show all over again. This was a big deal in the show because he never wears any pants. So if you go and check out the Watchdog episode, you can see Dudley wear pants for the first time. And as goofy and silly as it sounds, why is that going to be a good costume? It's significant to the characters, and all the characters were surprised and in awe that he had pants on. So Dudley Puppy wearing pants could be something simple for the developers to put on Dudley Puppy, and he doesn't wear pants because he cannot see his tail. That's the reason why he doesn't wear pants, and he doesn't really prefer wearing pants anyway. You see what I'm saying? So when you go and watch the show, you'll find this out because he's not a fan of wearing pants, and he wants his tail out, and his tail shows how he's feeling. So it's just something that could be a goofy, silly additional alternate costume for him. But just to turn it up a little bit, I added some of the disguises that he wears in the show, and some of the costumes and other stuff that you'll be able to see him wear. And I thought these would be more ideal. There's a lot of different options, but I wanted to pick some of the best ones for just researching. And I found the episodes where you can find these costumes if you guys want to look them up yourself and check them out, and you could be able to see the pictures. Now his next costume, I selected the tuxedo. So his tuxedo that he wore in Puppy Love from season 1 episode 8, he had a red shirt vest, red bow tie, and black pants. He had the full tuxedo, and at times he wore a completely different tuxedo, but that one didn't have any pants. See, that's how I brought up the other, alternate costume, because he's not really a fan of wearing those. So the tuxedo would have the complete outfit and the bow tie set up with the vest. So that's from Puppy Love. And his next costume, I selected from the Howl-O-Ween episode, or Happy Halloween episode. His costume was a spacesuit. So you could check that out. And you see how some of these costumes contain Halloween costumes, like Garfield, for example. He wore this during the Halloween, for the Halloween special episode. So I think they're more than likely going to add some more Halloween costumes for some of these new characters that could get in for new alternate costumes. Maple Marshall, I think I would like to see this one. He wore a hat with a giant stack of pancakes, pancake shoulder pads that wear stacks of pancakes as well, and a black suit with a blue bow tie. You could check it out in the Sweet Revenge episode. I definitely will be rocking this costume the most, I think. Maple Marshall. And then this next one I'm going to also bring up, the Night Armor from Prince Pantsless. This was his costume name, and you can look it up. His Night Armor, or aka Prince Pantsless, he's a great warrior of Scotland who defeated the monster in the past, and you got to check out the Great Scott episode. And he was taking on a giant monster that was about to stomp on him, but he was able to stop him with one hand. But that's just his strength and his fighter potential. He stopped a giant monster with one hand when he was going to stomp on him. But he made some jokes in this episode where he actually let him stomp on him, and to defend himself and take it, to defend himself and show his warrior, his strength of being a warrior. So him in this Night Armor, I think I will wear this one the most, and then Maple Marshall will be my favorite costumes. One more I added, his circus clown disguise that he wore in the show from Big Dog on Campus, the Big Dog on Campus episode. So I think this will be something that people will also like to wear too, just to be super goofy on the battlefield. And just from the costumes that they have now, they have some really great ones. So I went with his circus clown disguise for his last costume. So just double check. So he has the pants, tuxedo, Maple Marshall, the Night Armor, and the circus clown disguise. 5 different costumes. And then if he actually gets into the game, he's going to also have the mind control skin. So he's going to have a good 7 different costumes to go inside with the mind control skins that's added in this game already. Now it's time for the taunts and animations. I had some trouble just trying to find some of these, just trying to come up with some good ones. But something that I found out just from rewatching the show and doing research, Dudley has a bad habit of biting his butt. He'll chew on his butt and he'll bite on his butt. He has a bad habit, and he actually does this in front of people too. And I think this would be a funny taunt that's also suitable because he does this in the show and in front of people, and you can even check it out in the Perfect Partners episode, and you could see him chewing his butt. So I think that'll be a really funny taunt for him, and it fits him because he always usually does it, and he has a bad habit of doing that. So that's one of the taunts that I came up with, and I think that'll be one of the best taunts that the developers can add. It's funny, but it also fits his show and his character, and it's a good reference. Some iconic quotes that I came up with, because he said, "Or should I call you the chameleon?" And anytime he thinks that someone is the chameleon, he will start shooting at you, and he'll start attacking you, and he'll beat you down, boom, 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 and just start blasting on you. It's really funny to see. You could check this out in the Doom Mates episode. That's where I got it from. Or should I call you the chameleon? And he just starts going wild. He even started using Kitty Catwell as a weapon to smash and destroy his own partners for the Undercover Fighting Force. It was really funny to see. Anybody he suspects as the chameleon, he attacks wildly, and he'll just fire immediately. And then some other ones that he could say, "Freedom!" It makes me think of Squidward, but he's going to say it different, and he's going to be louder. "Freedom!" Well, in the Frisky Business episode. And then I added his catchphrase for Dudley Puppy's catchphrase, where when he wants to join the fight and he gets excited, his expression of excitement, he'll say, "Ah, yee, yee." He goes crazy. He's just that energetic. And I think that could be something also as an additional taunt, along with his little butt chewing thing like that, and things like that. That could be double the taunts, and he could just jump up in excitement. "Ah, yee, yee." You could check him out and see that. Now, for the winning and losing animations, I caught a video. I used the same one similar to what I did for Kitty Catwell, and they did this together. So I thought Dudley Puppy deserves to keep this sort of kind of dance as well. His winning animation would be the gloating dance. And he could say, "Now how about a little gloating dance?" So you guys could check out the video clip that I found, and be able to see him do the gloating dance with Kitty Catwell. It'll be perfect for a winning animation and really funny. So I think this is perfect for a winning animation. And then his losing animation, Dudley crying. From the dog dish and the watchdog episode, you could see Dudley cry and just bawl his eyes out and be sad. It'll be perfect for his losing animation. So you guys could check out the video if you want to check out the clips of the gloating dance, and then if you want to look up the episode of him crying, that's how I ended up coming up with the perfect winning and losing animations that could be ideal for the developers to use. I really found some good stuff, and I think he's going to be really energetic with his taunts and his winning animation and things like that to bring that energy to the battlefield as well, and just really be a fun character to play if you want to duo it up with two Dudley puppies, or maybe you just have a full-on free-for-all. He'll really be a nice character that I think a lot of people will enjoy, even if they don't really know too much about the show. So now my favorite part, the moveset. Try to make sure I didn't forget anything. I wanted to make this moveset different from what I did to Kitty Catwell. Dudley and Kitty are partners in this show. Dudley and Kitty Catwell are partners in this show and can be seen using some of the same weapons, and they fight together. So my goal was to make him a little bit different from what I created with Catwell's moves from a while ago, because I already made a full moveset request from an older video if you guys want to check it out. And I wanted to give him a little bit more and have him stand out with his own unique techniques and his own little meter as well, to make this expanded and to really be able to make this a little bit different and stand out and compare it to Kitty Catwell, because I don't want to give them everything at the same thing. I wanted to give Dudley Puppy his own little moveset and his move pool to make him stand out. And some of these weapons, like the laser handgun that I'm about to get ready to talk about with his first move, she's going to have that too, and the developers can make them different from the play style. Now with his laser handgun for his first move, I made a chargeable laser handgun where Dudley can fire shots from his blaster across the map, and then he could charge it up for a bigger, much slower moving projectile. So he's gonna have these kind of weapons from the show, and they use these weapons in the show for their different missions and the different things to stop Snaptrap or whatever mission that they're on, to try to stop his schemes and his plans throughout the episodes in the show, whichever one. They don't use it all the time, but they have so many cool gadgets and different weapons and guns that they use in the show. His next move, the mini ray gun. Now, this is going to be two moves all into one because it's going to have two different settings. This weapon will have two settings set to it on screen display. The developers can design it on screen so you can be able to see what you set it to, and what you have the mini ray gun set to. So in the show, it has two different settings set to hot or cold. So for the heat and the freezing mechanic, with its two different abilities. So when you set the ray gun to hot, or basically to the heating sort of a setting, whether you set it to hot or cold, when you set it to hot, Dudley can fire a blast of heat that can inflict the burn status element, burning enemies for a limited amount of time. Now, some moves like Azula, and I think what Aang's down special, I think it's his side special, if I remember correctly, because I like playing as him sometimes. Aang's side special allows Aang to use firebending, and if he successfully hits you with his side special with his firebending, he will burn you, and you'll be afflicted with the status element, and you'll start, taking damage over a few seconds. It can work the same way, but this one obviously is going to have bigger range because it's going to be a ray gun. So that's going to be that's only going to be active when you set the mini ray gun to the hot setting. Now, if you set it to the cold, which is the freeze setting, Dudley will be able to freeze all enemies over time in one blast. Now, I wish you could show and display the items, but you can't still, like you could in the first game, because you only could just turn them on and off. You can't really set which items will spawn and you'll be able to select them. I was thinking about the snowball launcher, because after a few times it can freeze you, but this mini ray gun is going to be able to freeze you almost instantly if he shoots you, and you can still be able to break out. So he'll be able to freeze all enemies over time in one blast. Opponents can break out quickly by pressing any button repeatedly. So that way he can't just combo you. You could just hurry up and break out and just try to jump, get away from him, and things like that. So you'll be able to set the ray gun on the screen the way you want to, and manually set if you want it to be hot or cold, you could be able to manually set it, and they could just have it on display so you can see what you got. And even if it's not on screen, it could just be like a sound prompt that they can develop. Maybe like a little icy snow sound, a little snowy sound where you set it to cold, and maybe like a little fire noise if you set it to hot. They could do stuff like that so you know what you have your ray gun setting to if it's not on screen display. Now, something else I wanted to give him, let's go to Patrick, because I was thinking about his moves, because he's much more of a grappler in this game when you go play this character. His next move, get away from my candy. He goes crazy in this episode, in the Happy Halloween episode, and I got the video example if you guys want to see how I came up with this. It's a special grabbing technique. Dudley will be able to grab an enemy with one arm and punch 5 times continuously in rhythm with his voice lines in his seat that cannot be canceled or interrupted during his animation. So once he grabs you, you can't stop him. You gotta let him finish his animation and his move. And I thought about Patrick because he has his own unique moves as a grappler. So I thought this would be something that they could do as something awesome. And it's like 5 times, get away from my candy, and he'll really be able to launch you. This will be a really strong technique, but you gotta, if he misses, then he'll be vulnerable. So you see how I think Patrick, when he grabs you, he even if he misses, he still has a short window to recover and shield, but it'll be a little bit slower. So when he does grab you, and if he does miss, I'll say if he does miss his this move, get away from our candy. you'll be able to punish him if he misses his grab. So it'll be a lot more of a slower recovery time in comparison to Patrick. So I wanted to give him this technique, and I thought it'd be really funny, and it's also going to be dangerous because he's going to be able to hit you a good 5 times, and it could definitely be able to kill you. So I thought this would be something that'll be dope for him that they can add. So y'all can check out the video example of this unique grab technique that I thought would be fitting for his move pool. So we're getting close to wrapping it up. His next move, Chew Toy, is something that he says is like a voice line, but I turned it into a move. So Dudley will be able to pounce onto the enemy to eat them while being able to chew and spit them right out. So I wanted to give him some kind of unique biting move and be able to, chew you, and then just he'll think you're gonna be his own chew toy. So he'll be able to go after you like that. A recovery move, the grappling hook gun. This is something I also gave Kitty Catchwell in the past, but this is perfect because this is something that can break their fall. The grappling hook gun, similar to Kitty Catchwell, what I did, Dudley Puppy will be able to shoot his way back up onto the stage. Now it could probably make you think of Mikey from the first game, and then you see how we got Grandma Gertie with her grappling hook. This is going to be a grappling hook gun, so it'll have much bigger range and more succession. You could be able to get, pull yourself up. You could also think of Mr. Krabs' fishing rod in a way, but the grappling hook gun seems more ideal for a recovery move. Now, and for this final move, a super attack or ultimate, or maybe a final smash, so y'all want to talk about, you'll call it, I gave him the T.U.F.F mobile. It's almost similar to the Batmobile because that's what they were going for. And the T.U.F.F mobile actually has different transformations. It could turn into a van, something similar to all these different things. And the T.U.F.F mobile I thought would be something really cool to add for a super, because this is a vehicle used throughout the series by the agents Puppy and Catchwell. And I think this would be an awesome way to be able to run down all the enemies. And when you get into this, when he activates his super, you'll have mobility and be able to control him where you want to go. So you'll be able to run down all the enemies on the field while also having manual control. So you want to go to the left, you want to jump, or go to the right side, you'll have all that ability and that freedom, that mobility freedom or movement to go where you want to go. And I thought Kitty Catchwell could even ride with him together as they do in the show. And they can rain destruction on anybody in their way, and then Kitty Catchwell can just ride shotgun and be able to go on a little drive-by. So Kitty Catchwell could be able to shoot at you while you're driving the T.U.F.F mobile, and you can be able to run opponents over. And I was also sort of kind of thinking of Donatello's super with the turtle van, because Leo, Mikey, and Raphael are inside that van with him. But you see how Raphael is still playable. It didn't really destroy his chances of being playable because he's also in that van with Donatello, even if you're going against him. So I thought this could be something unique. So I was really thinking about Donatello special in a way, but something bigger and better with the T.U.F.F mobile. And they're partners in crime, so I thought this would be something. And you could see this T.U.F.F mobile and the perfect partners in any other parts of the episodes in the show. You'll be able to check that out. So I think that's one of the best supers that I could give him. I was going to give him something a little bit hyper for him to go crazy, something hyperactive and rage fulfilling, but I thought the T.U.F.F mobile would be more ideal. But that's everything that I could come up with this character, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun creating this request, and if anybody wants to request any other characters if y'all want to see, even if it's a show I haven't seen, only Nickelodeon characters, and maybe some that used to be Nickelodeon characters, even Nick Jr. characters, if you guys want to throw those in there too. It's a lot of requests. It takes a lot of time to put these together, but I love doing these, especially during the downtime. So when a character comes out and there's nothing really going on, and we're waiting for the next patch for things to get fixed, which they so badly need to, I could create different characters and different ideas for the game, for potential characters and fighters that they can add to boost this roster. So I definitely think that Dudley Puppy, Kitty Catchwell, and just the show in general, T.U.F.F Puppy, belongs in this game. We definitely got to get more of these characters in the game. We got to get some new shows. Let's stop coming out with these SpongeBob characters. You know what I mean? Let's stop coming out with the SpongeBob characters. Let's stop coming out with the TMNT characters and Last Airbender, things like that. This is a Nickelodeon game with crossovers. We got all the shows in the world, and even shows and shows that got canceled and don't exist anymore. We got Angry Beavers. So they got some of these reps that people wanted to see for the longest, even from the first game, like Jimmy Neutron. But it's time for new shows. It's time for new characters. Let's get some of these new shows represented, and let's bring back maybe some of the cut characters. Even if they don't come back, you're still going to do the game justice by adding some of the characters from those newer shows that people wanted to see in the game for the longest. So shows like Tough Puppy, it's just one of the popular shows and from popular demand from the fans and the community in general who want to see this character. It doesn't stop with him. Dudley Puppy and Kitty Caswell can get into this game to represent their shows with their own fighting style, as you guys found out. And then there's other shows, even from way back from the early 2000s and so much more from the 90s, that can get added. We need some more villains. Vlad Plasmius needs to be playable. They got all the options in the world with all this untapped potential. Let's stop thinking about the next game. Let's get more for this game, and that way we have a perfect, I'm gonna say a perfect product. We have a flourishing product that's going to continue to grow, and not with the same reps just stacking up. It's not about SpongeBob, TMNT, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. It shouldn't have been like this. There's not a single new show in this past. Mr. Krabs and Zuko, definitely I think they're some of the best. And especially Mr. Krabs being so important because some characters in the background that are missing, that got removed and got changed, they could come back. So I think he's definitely the most important character in this game, who definitely opened up those doors. But we gotta get more. So I really hope that they do, and hopefully it's not gonna just be those two stages, Country and Thailand Stardale. We need more. But let me know what you guys think. We're gonna have the description and display with the moveset, and you guys can check out the video references and more, and all the other requests. Drop the requests that y'all want to see next for the characters, and I can't wait to work on more. Even if it's a newer show, even if it's a show I haven't seen, I love just putting in the work and doing the research and finding out about these characters. So I'm hoping we get more, and just during the downtime we could just continue to come out with some of these kind of videos with more potential fighters.